Welcome to World Finance Brief. Today, we're diving into the silent war that's being fought right now, not with tanks and soldiers, but with sanctions, supply chains, and semiconductors. Yeah, the new economic world war has already begun.
You see the headlines every single day, right? Trade wars, sanctions, new global tensions. It's easy to see them as separate little fires. But what if they're not? What if they're all just battles in a much bigger, high-stakes fight for global dominance that is literally reshaping our world as we speak?
So, to really get a handle on this, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at what's really driving all this chaos. Then, we'll get into the dollar's secret power and the one moment that put everything at risk. After that, we'll explore the new battlegrounds of tech, how the world is splitting in two, and finally, what it all means for the rest of us.
All right, so let's start with a big question. What's really at the heart of this instability? Well, it's not just one thing. It's more like a perfect storm of four interconnected problems, all hitting the world's largest economy, the United States, at the same time. You've got first a truly massive national debt. Then there's the persistent inflation that just doesn't seem to want to go away. Third, the very foundation of U.S. power, the dollar's status as the world's go-to currency, is being challenged. And of course, the big one, the incredible economic and technological rise of China. These four forces are all feeding off each other. Now, to really understand just how big of a deal this is, you have to grasp where America's real global power has come from for the last 50 years. And you know what? It hasn't just been its military, it's been its money. The whole modern global economy is pretty much built on this one simple, powerful idea. If you're a country and you want to buy or sell things internationally, you need US dollars. It's the world's reserve currency. It's the oil and the engine of global trade. But how on earth did it get that much power?
Well, it all comes down to this absolutely brilliant deal that was made back in the 1970s called the petrodollar system. The arrangement was pretty simple. The U.S. offered military protection to the big oil-producing nations. In return, those nations agreed to sell their oil only in U.S. dollars. Just think about the genius of that. Every country needs oil, which means every country needs dollars to buy it. Boom. Just like that. The entire world was locked in to depending on the U.S. currency.
For decades, this system seemed completely untouchable. The dollar was seen as a safe, neutral asset for any country to keep its savings in. But in 2022, one single event happened that just shattered that illusion of trust. Following the invasion of Ukraine, the United States and its allies did something that had never been done before on this scale. They froze Russia's access to its own money. We're talking $420 billion worth of its foreign reserves. Just gone. The message this sent to every other central bank on the planet was loud and clear. Your money, your savings, are only safe as long as your politics don't cross Washington. Almost overnight, the US dollar went from being seen as a safe haven to a potential political weapon. And what happened next was this sort of quiet global panic. Nations around the world, especially places like China, started scrambling to trade their US dollars for physical gold. Why? Because gold is a real, tangible asset that no foreign government can freeze with the press of a button. And look at this. For the first time ever, the world's central banks now hold more in gold than they do in US treasuries. That's a huge shift. So with that trust in the dollar shaken, this great power competition has moved to a new battleground. A battleground that might be even more critical for the future: technology. The new currency of power, the new oil of the 21st century, isn't black and gooey. It's the semiconductor chip. These tiny little slices of silicon are the brains inside everything: your phone, your car, AI, and of course, the most advanced military weapons. If you control the chips, you control the future. And what's really crazy is that at the very center of this global battle is one single company, TSMC in Taiwan. They make the most advanced chips in the world, which makes that small island one of the biggest geopolitical flashpoints on the planet. Both the US and China know that whoever has control over Taiwan's chip supply has an unbelievable strategic upper hand. But it's not just about who can make the chips. It's also about who controls the materials you need to make them. And this is where China has a huge hidden advantage. See, it's not about who has the raw, rare earth metals in the ground. It's about who has the ability to process them. And with 70% of the world's processing capacity, China basically has a monopoly on a critical piece of the tech supply chain. So you've got this intense fight over money and an even more intense fight over technology. What's the result? It's causing a massive fracture in the global system. The world that we've known for decades, one big, interconnected economy, is rapidly splitting into two separate, competing blocks. And here's the new divide. On one side, you've got the US-led bloc. Its economy is driven by consumption, and it's trying to keep its dominance through the dollar and new digital currencies. And on the other side, you have the China-led bloc. Its engine is manufacturing, and it's trying to build a totally new financial system backed by physical gold. Two very different visions for the future. So what on earth does this new fractured world mean for everyone else? As these two giants pull farther and farther apart, other countries are being forced to pick a side or try to find a third way to not just survive, but thrive in between them.
Take a country like India, for example. It's playing its cards very carefully. It isn't just picking a side, it's positioning itself to be its own independent power center. It's leveraging its huge population and consumer market, it's building up its own manufacturing with the Make in India initiative, and it's even developing its own chip capabilities. India is charting its own course. And all of this leads us to the single biggest question for the decade ahead. You have the US with the power of the existing system and incredible innovation, but it's facing that massive debt. Then you have China with its manufacturing dominance and long-term planning, but it's facing its own demographic problems. So who's better positioned to win? Honestly, there's no easy answer here. Is the future going to be built on the US consumer model or the China manufacturing model? Is the digital dollar or physical gold? You can make a really strong case for either side, and that's why we want to know what you think. Let us know your take in the comments. For more deep dives that break down the massive forces shaping our world, make sure you subscribe to World Finance Brief. Thanks for watching.